so Hannah and I, we are doing our video number 2. And last week we talked to you guys about hip mobility, kind of explained what flexibility versus mobility is. So we kind of want to lead into more of that, because I know we talked about, our ankles with weak ankles, weak knees, weak hips. And we hope that some of you guys did the test so you guys can see where your ankles are at. So today we're going to do a hip mobility test. Now, this is it's kind of crazy, because some people are like, well, I can go into a walking lunge just perfectly fine, or I can do an overhead squat fine. Well, that's because your flexibility is fine, but when it comes down to the mobility, you might have a little bit of an issue. So we kind of want to go a little bit in depth in that. So I will do the test, and Hannah is going to walk me through it, and we're going to talk about what we're looking at.
Right. All right. So first, Laura, I'm going to have you, I just want to give them a demo of what, flexibility versus mobility looks like. So, do, 3 air squats, just however the heck you want to. All right. So you can see Laura can just go down into the air squat however she wants to. Her hips get low. Her chest kind of leans over. It's not exactly perfect, but when I say, do a nice controlled air squat, making sure that your knees are going out and your chest is up, it's going to look different, right? So she's doing it pretty slow, but even if you didn't do it slow, it's going to look different, because you're actively focusing on those muscles working together to get you in a position that you want to be in, versus just kind of falling in and out of that squat. And that's kind of the difference between flexibility and mobility. Flexibility, you can just kind of fall in and out. Mobility is actively turning on those muscles and making them do what you want them to do, and it's turning out correctly. So Laura's going to do the overhead squat assessment, or overhead squat, sorry. Assessment. I'm going to assess her in her overhead squat. So go ahead. This is going to be you guys' test, right? You're going to do it nice and controlled, focusing. You can see Laura's low back arches a little, and that her chest leans over just a little. And those are 2 cues for us to see that kind of what's going on with her hip mobility there. So she can come up and come out of that. So for you guys, when you do it at home, make sure you can video it if you like. It'd probably help us and help you. But just make sure it's nice and controlled, and you're focusing on getting your body to do what it's supposed to do. The knees out, the chest up, the feet turning out just a little bit, but not moving once you've started that squat. But anyways, that shows us what's going on with Laura, and kind of how her hips are acting up.
Do you want to do yours, Hannah?
Yeah, we can do mine. So mine is way worse than Laura's.
No, but I want to do yours because I want them to see your feet.
Right. So, hang on, we need my stuff.
Because this will happen. So she's going to go back a little bit, Hannah. Sorry, guys. Okay. So she's going to go into it. She's going to have her hands over her head, and she's going to go down. If you notice, hold it there, her feet tilt out. And that also comes along with the ankle mobility, which we talked about last week. So how are we going to fix all this? Well, we have some stretches that we picked 3 that we thought were pretty good. And again, being consistent with it, you can see some changes. So the first one, Hannah, you want to go ahead and talk about the first one since you're up already?
Sure. So the first one is a really, really good stretch to do while you're sitting down watching TV before you go to bed at night. Definitely do not do this one because it's a longer stretch. Don't do it before you work out. You don't want to lengthen your muscles that much or have them that stretch. So I'm going to demo it. It's a long one, but it's really good for hitting all those angles in the hip, because the hip does move in a circular motion, right? It can move in all planes of motion, so forward and back, side to side. So let me see. I'll demo this way so you can see my back. So my back leg just kind of falls back. It's the forward. If your surface is lower than this, that's fine as well. Your leg's just going to drop a little bit more. But I'm going to leave this foot facing forward. I'm going to pull the knee out if I want to. It can go straight, go out, and I'm going to lean into it, and then I can actually turn through this. And once I can find a spot and I'm like, oh, that's kind of sticky, and I can feel that tightness, I'm going to sit there for like 3 minutes. So really what you're gonna do is like 3 minutes each spot that you find. So you might find 2 or 3 spots, so you're 9 minutes in this position. And then once you kind of feel loosened up, you'll transition into what's very similar to the pigeon pose. It's just elevated, and you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna relax into it. You're gonna turn around and kind of get that hip joint to move the way you want to. If your knee hurts on that one, drop your foot off to the side. But I like those. So you're going to be end up in that stretch for like 15 minutes each side. It's not necessarily a super painful one, but I would suggest doing it watching TV or something so you don't get super bored.
Yeah. So I know the other two, the next one I'm going to do is kind of similar, it's similar to her, but you're going to kind of just hold it in that position. So you're going to kind of go into that lizard pose, but your hand is going to go wide, okay? Just a little on the outside. You're going to go ahead and pop your foot down, and all you're doing is pushing against your knee. So you're really focusing on your hip. You can hold this one going back and forth. Okay, now you can use this one as a warm-up. I would not suggest doing a 2-minute hold on this one if you're going to use it for a warm-up. Maybe like 30 to 45 seconds just to kind of open up your hips. Especially if you're going to be doing back squats, front squats, overhead squats. You would do the other side. The other one is called the frog. You're going to be up against a wall, okay? And you're going to kind of sit your butt up against the wall, and you're going to push your knees against it. So, imagine this is my wall. Hopefully it does not move. Okay, and I'm going to push my knees close to the wall. All right, ideas you want your butt a little bit closer. My box keeps moving, but find a wall that you can use to do that stretch. That way you can hold it for a minute if you want to. Again, you guys, think about, because today is what we're doing overhead squats. So kind of think about it and see where you're at. And, you know, if you can get down, that's awesome for the flexibility, but if your mobility is not there, technique and form is going to come into play. So scaling is totally okay. Scale it back a little bit and focus on the technique and form. And we do always preach technique and form. But if you guys have any questions, definitely shoot us a message. I hope you guys did do the ankle mobility test. I hope you guys do this one. Everyone should be able to, since we're all doing overhead squats. And then take a picture of it, and then maybe in a week, take another picture and see how the progress is. But again, you have to be consistent with your stretches if you want to see some progress.
Yep. One thing I will stress, because most of you guys know that I deal with a lot of mobility issues, especially since I started coming to the gym. But through the process of being consistent and inconsistent, the biggest thing I want to stress to you guys that if you want to change your mobility, like you really want to do that, you're not going to change your mobility holding a stretch for 30, 40 seconds. You need to invest the time in holding stretches for 5-10 minutes. Even though they might be difficult or boring, that's kind of going to be what's going to change your mobility, especially when you're thinking about your mobility is directly related to the fact that you sit all day at a desk or you constantly do this one movement all day. You have to invest a lot of time in changing that because you're going to go right back and do the same movement over and over again.
I totally agree. That's why we try to push our ROMWOD.
Right.
But so again, if you guys have any questions, Hannah, do you have anything else to say? Don't forget, you guys, 7:30, we have our ROMWOD Monday, Thursday, Friday. Join us. Sometimes it's 20 minutes. Sometimes it might be a little bit longer. And like we said the last time, if you're like, hey, we need a little bit extra, let us know and we can give you a little bit extra for it. So thanks for watching our video, and hope to see some pictures or videos in the comments. You guys have a fabulous Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.